What's up YouTube? It's Christopher back with another video. Last week I onboarded a new client. We're doing a 60-second promotional and two 20-second spin-off pieces. We have our production day on Monday and I'm going to walk you through everything from discovery to delivering the final product. It's going to be a good one. Let's get into the video. All right, we are starting with discovery and pre-production. Honestly, these tend to be some of the more boring phases, but do not be mistaken. They are by far the most important if you don't want to be sitting in the post-production room and being like, what now? Discovery and pre-production are the most important, but as I promised, we're going to be going through the entire process. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Starting off, landing the client. The client came through LinkedIn. They sent me an email based on a piece of content that they saw that I posted. They made an introduction and introduced their project. I responded. We went back and forth. I was just trying to gather as much details about the company and about the project that they were looking to complete and what they were hoping that project would do for them. Once I felt like I had enough information, the next step was to throw out the idea of a discovery call. And quite honestly, it's a lot of more the same, right? Asking similar questions, really trying to drill down on understanding what is the purpose of this video. And really one of the biggest goals is you're trying to get them to say all of the reasons why this video is valuable to them. That's sort of the whole discovery phase. I'm taking notes, I'm recording the call, and then afterwards I'm brainstorming my own ideas of what can I put together to help this client achieve their goals. On the discovery call, I had them say, we are interested in taking a look at a proposal. So we went ahead and booked that. I like to book the call, the proposal call on the discovery. We talk about a budget range, maybe not a specific number, but I don't want to bring a proposal that freaks them out or is like, whoa, that is nowhere near what we were expecting. Once I have all the information that I need for the proposal call, I really just have a template that I put all of the information in. I might practice a couple of times, run through, make sure I know, everything that I'm talking about, figuring out ways, how can I make sure I can maximize this budget for them? Boom, we hop on the meeting, I pitch the project, they went for it. From there, it's about getting a production agreement signed, a deposit collected, and onboarding them as a client. Once production agreement and the invoice are taken care of, it's about getting them all of their onboarding documents, starting with a nice little welcome letter, a client agreement summary. This is essentially the production agreement. Project overview. This is more about the creative side. What are the deliverables? Who's our target audience? What are our primary goals? Production timeline. We want to make sure everybody stays on track. Communication guidelines. This is a newer one for me, but really helpful. Setting expectations of what communication is like day of shoot, during post-production, during prep. A content usage guide. This is also a newer one. I used to customize this, but then I just made one for everybody. It has all the different type of content that I actually produce for my clients, how to maximize your content. Talent toolkit, kind of the same thing, depending on, if it's more involved or if there's more people, I might create this as a separate document and tailor a little bit more towards them. On-set experience, this just provides them expectation of what the experience is going to be like on set. And then very important, a revision policy. So this shows them, during post-production, what is considered an edit, what is not. All of these get uploaded right into HoneyBook. That way my client always has access within their portal to be able to see all of these documents. The next step is actually pitching a video idea. So we've told them what we're going to create. Now we need to talk about the actual details. So this is where shot list, script writing, and concept, what are our anchor points for our storyline, all of those sorts of details, that's where this starts to come together. We'll set up a project kickoff meeting. This is where I have the opportunity to walk them through a video pitch deck, and that includes shots, anchor points for the story, multiple drafts, multiple variations of a script. Once I receive approval, I need to make sure that I get my client the call sheet so they know the schedule, the shot list so they know what to expect. They already have all of the onboarding stuff. They need the final script so they're not digging through multiple documents. I need to communicate with my crew to make sure everybody knows call time. This is the gear that I need you to bring, and this is your role. That is onboarding, that is discovery, and that is pre-production. I'll see you in prep on Sunday evening when we pack it. All right, it is Sunday evening. We are prepping for the shoot tomorrow, and I'm just running down my gear list to make sure everything's good. I'm going through each piece of gear to make sure it has all the accessories, cables, small things that are easy to miss. Don't necessarily set everything up, but I do ensure each thing is in its place to make setup tomorrow as easy as possible. I've already charged most of my batteries, but I have my battery charging case here, which just has a power strip inside, and it makes charging batteries on set really easy. So we always have power and we never have to worry about that. I have my camera essentials bag. So this has ND filters and all camera essentials. I have different lens choices, monitors, and mounting tools for whatever situation we come across, as well as a gimbal because we're gonna have a couple of camera movement shots. I also have my lighting kit. Tomorrow we're bringing a 600. We have two 300s. I have a spotlight mount, a 60X. We'll also have another 120D and a handful of modifiers. I have C-stands and light stands. They're already packed in the car. So for lighting, we're pretty set. All right, that is it for prep and the gear that I'm bringing. Jonesy, my help tomorrow, is gonna be bringing his FX3. That's the main camera we're shooting on. I have my A7S III. We'll probably put it on the gimbal, but mainly shooting on the FX3. Luckily, tomorrow's not an early call time, so I'll wake up in the morning, load everything up, but I just have everything laid out, ready to go. So make sure nothing is missing. Once we're there, it's about just using the tools that we do have, the tools that we did bring, but we've done a good job to prep, make sure we have all of our bases covered in all of the scenarios that I believe that we'll be in. So we should be good, but that's it for prep. I'll see you all on set. All right, y'all, we just got on set. Step one is really walking through kind of each room, game planning, where are we going to get all of our different scenes. Today we have about 4, and we just walked through kind of each room and planned out our day. Where is each shot going to take place? Where's our B-roll happening? Where's our A-roll happening? So we figured that out, established our first scene. Now it's just about getting all the gear set up. Jones is working on rigging the camera. He's going to be cam hopping pretty much all day. I'll start working on some lighting stuff. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get ripping and get ready for this first shot. Jones is working on his iPad pairing so we can get a remote monitor. That's what we got so far. Got our main key light, 600. We're shooting right into these back windows. Got a spotlight mount on a 120D. Putting a nice touch of light on the Bible here. It's gonna be a nice setup. Beautiful outside area too. All right, y'all, we just set up for our second scene. This is where we will do the majority of our script and our talking head. I have an FX3 that Jonesy is going to be running. This is our wide shot, and we will have a couple of cutaways. So to save on time, I threw the A7S III on sticks as well, hunched in at 70. For lighting, we're motivated by this back window. I have a 600 with a light dome on it, as well as a 120D, the spotlight mount that's just pushing a little bit of texture. Jonesy and I had to do some problem solving to make it look natural, but finally got it to a good place. That's why we build in more time. We just need a couple extra minutes to take the shot from here to here. We are getting ready to get rolling for these A-roll shots. This will be the bulk part of our script, but shoot day's going really well. Everybody's happy so far. I'm happy. All right, we just wrapped up. We are hurrying to get out of here. The second half of the day was a little madness. They have an event at their home later, so we were kind of moving quick, but the third scene went well. We were able to pre-light it with the time that we had, so it made things go quicker. That's what's just nice about having a lot of lights and stuff on set. We just have options, so we had 2 scenes set up at once, went from one right to the other. We got our A-roll scene in the last shots that you saw, and then we did some B-roll kind of at a round table, representing some of the community aspect of the video. But yeah, now we're just packing up, getting out of here. We got everything we needed, knocked out 4 scenes. They were really good. Everything looked good. Client was happy. Team crushed, as always. So now it's time to pack up, get out of here, and hop in the edit. It is now time for post-production. We've done a great job in discovery and pre-production to make sure we have all the resources that we need to efficiently piece together our edit. The biggest priority after filming is data management. I always try and create at least 2 local copies as well as a cloud version. That way my editor also has access to all the footage to start editing. Depending on the project, the scope of work, the size, the budget, I may edit or I may pass it off. I've been trying to work with an editor more on a regular basis. Shout out to Nathan of Vela Films out in Oregon. He's been editing a lot of my client work recently. I do still edit sometimes, but outsourcing this part of the process ultimately frees up my time to go land more clients. Maybe in another video, I'll do a breakdown of my editing workflow, my philosophy when jumping into an edit. But for this video specifically, we'll just focus on the data management piece of it. When bringing an editor onto a project, there's 2 major factors that I'm considering. The first is communication. I want to make sure that I give my editor a full overview of what he's stepping into. Plus, the more I communicate about our pre-production resources, as well as what actually happened on set, he's going to have an easier time putting together the edit, allowing more time for the creative juices to flow instead of spending time chopping everything up and piecing it all together for the first rough cut. Number 2 is organization. Now, I'm a little OCD, so this comes a bit naturally to me, but the last thing I want to do to any editor that I work with or to myself if I'm editing my own projects, is just dropping all the media in a single folder and calling it a day. I like to organize my camera footage by camera type and then add special notes about what was primarily shot with that camera. For my audio files, I organize by mic type. So I'll have a boom folder and a lav folder, and then I'll go another layer deep if we have multiple people that were mic'd up, and then create folders for each specific person. This is a pretty simple thing for me to do on my end, and it saves my editor time and headache. Once he has all the assets he needs, I just take a step back and let him cook. Once I get a first draft, we might go back and forth on a couple of minor edits, but this point in the process, I'm just trying to get it ready for the client first look. If the feedback is all positive, then we'll go ahead and hop into revisions right then and there. If we seem to have completely missed the mark, which has never happened, we'll take the general feedback, create a updated draft, and that's when our revision process will officially kick off. So once that first look gets approved, there's 2 rounds of revisions. It's pretty rare we go past this, but it's happened. That's why having a revisions policy in your onboarding packet helps set the expectation to the client, because I'm not changing the music on the second round of revisions. That's pretty much post-production. Depending on the scope of work and amount of deliverables, this can be a bit of a longer phase. But what I've found is that I've really increased my turnaround time on projects by working with an editor, because I just tend to procrastinate. Once the client approves all of the final deliverables, we upload everything through Dropbox. We organize it with all of the brand assets that were provided, as well as an outputs folder and a stills folder. The outputs folder contains all of the video files that we are delivering. The stills folder is generally a collection of frames from the actual video. This is a really nice add-on to provide marketing teams for thumbnail creation, newsletters, or other branded marketing efforts. If me or my team captured any high-resolution BTS photos, I'll also provide those, because sometimes people like to post behind the scenes. I'm still working on developing a quality offboarding process for my clients, but they get a nice email with the final Dropbox link with all of the instructions, as well as the opportunity to book a call. I don't book delivery calls for all of my clients, but for some of the larger ones, it can be really important. See, when you're running a video marketing agency, it's different than just being a videographer. You're not just delivering final products. We're creating a partnership to walk our client through this video marketing experience. I hope you all found some value in this video. Thanks for sticking till the end. I know it's a bit of a longer one, but this is my process from landing a client all the way to delivering a final product. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.